Hey, good morning, everybody. This is the webinar On-Demand Skills Training with the AFS Institute. My name is Leo Barron. I'm the Director of Membership Services, and the other person that will be doing the heavy lifting today with regard to the webinar is...
Hello, this is Jennifer Morton. I am the e-learning project manager at the Institute.
So the two of us today will go through a lot of different things. Bear with us as we do all this, and Jennifer has some preliminary comments to make right now.
So welcome to our webinar. We will spend 20 minutes sharing some information about our e-learning program. We'll be answering questions at the end of this session. You may type your questions in at any time during the webinar in the question box in your webinar control panel. This webinar will be recorded and made available to today's attendees. You will receive an email with a link to the recording within a week after the webinar. By the end of this webinar, you will be able to subscribe to a year of unlimited access to all modules for corporate members, or navigate through the Community Hub to purchase access to an individual module or modules. Our e-learning provides you with interactive and practical skills you can then use on the shop floor every day. E-learning is essential in today's on-the-go, on-demand world. Each module ranges from 15 minutes to over an hour, dependent on the content. Students are free to start, pause, and resume their learning as needed across multiple devices. This web-based learning management system, LMS, is compatible with Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer 11, and Safari on computers and tablets.
You know, let's take one step back before we continue to and take a look at maybe, as I would call it, the bigger picture. What we're bringing to your attention today and what AFS is providing via this new program is not really, if you want to say, new in the true sense of the word, because when you take a look at the Society's vision and its mission, it's extremely clear that education and the promotion of knowledge are very obvious critical features. You know, when I read the vision statement, it says AFS will lead the North American metal casting industry in 3 specific things: advocacy, education, and innovation. And we see that every day when we look at the AFS logo. And when you look at the mission of the organization, AFS exists to provide and promote knowledge, once again, and services that strengthen the metal casting industry. So knowledge and education, those 2 key words, are 2 key elements of what AFS is and does every day. Now, sometimes you might say, well, yeah, this is all nice and good, but how do I integrate this into what I do every day? Or, you know, how does this all fit together? Well, first of all, remember this. It is part of a much wider information offering from AFS. Because if you look at it, it is not just the e-learning, but it is also the library package. And this is part of what corporate member subscribers to this program also receive. They receive unlimited access to the AFS online library. That includes the technical papers, the articles that the library has. So AFS staff will be more than happy to help you understand this aspect of the subscription program for corporate members. But today's webinar will focus strictly on the e-learning segment of this program. So again, let's never forget the wider offerings of the Institute. And that includes classroom and in-plant education. And those 2 things the Institute does every month of the year. They're always involved in that. So combine those 2 pieces with the aspects that we're going to be presenting today, and now I would humbly suggest you have a very key foundational piece of your bigger strategy for educating your employees. But again, you might say, how do I really integrate these? You know, where does it all fit together? Well, let's just take a few examples that I think are very obvious. You know, for example, do you need easy access to training and materials? Well, I think this will fill that gap. You know, what about cross-training various employees so that departments that even work right next to each other will be able to know the terminology and understand what happens in that other department. You know, let's not forget that whole knowledge transfer from generation to generation. Again, a very important feature that sometimes is lost and considered, well, maybe it's not important, or how do I even do that, or can I do that? And then again, what do you do for new employees? Where do you start with general training for them? And sometimes we forget the good old seasoned employees because we say, well, they know, they don't need that, and we humbly again suggest that training is for everybody, the new as well as the seasoned. And again, what about everyone else? All those people that maybe don't have a technical background, yet need the ability to learn concepts and terms, and all that type of information. So the opportunities to integrate all this into what your company might currently have, or simply to start filling education gaps, are all strong possibilities with this program.
We currently have 20 modules available concerning green sand molding, cast iron, casting defect analysis, and introduction to metal casting principles. You can find detailed descriptions of each module on our website. The Institute is currently working to develop additional modules to be added to the course catalog. Now we're going to take a couple of minutes to explore an e-learning module, Basic Melt Practices for Cast Iron. So here is our e-learning. From the home screen, click on your catalog to see the modules that you have available to you. When you view the module, you will see the following: a brief description of the module, estimated module time, and continuing education units, CEUs, awarded after you have completed the module. Click Launch.
Welcome to the Basic Melt Practices for Cast Iron module. Click the navigation button to learn how to navigate this module. When you're ready, click Next.
So here is what the e-learning looks like. On the left side of the screen, you will see the menu, the glossary showing common terms that will be seen throughout the module, and the written script of the narration. On the right side of the screen, you will see how to navigate the module.
This screen shows you how to navigate the module. Please review the functionality as shown.
The resource guide, which you can download and print. Here's a copy of the resource guide. And how to exit the module. Please note that if you exit the module before completion, the module, when relaunched, will ask if you want to resume where you left off. Now we're going to take a couple of minutes to walk everyone through accessing our e-learning. For corporate subscriptions, visit afsinc.org. Go to the Education and Careers tab and click on e-learning and library subscription program. Scroll down and please click here for subscription form. Complete the form and return it and your payment to AFS. Please make sure your company's roster is up to date. Emails and names are the minimum requirements for user information. Every user of the system is required to have a valid email address. AFS will notify you when your account is set up and you can access the system. The Institute staff will work directly with the designated Learning Management LMS administrator A training document entitled Supervisor How To can be found in the LMS catalog to guide you through the assigning of training to your team members. If you have any questions with the system, you and your employees can reach the AFS Institute. For purchasing access to individual modules, please visit afsinc.org. Click on the AFS store in the upper right-hand corner. Click on the e-learning subcategory and select the module or modules you want by clicking on the Details button. Add the module or modules to your cart, and when you are ready to check out, complete the checkout process. Individual module access is good for 60 days. So we've explored module, and we've shown you access to our e-learning. Now we will answer your questions.
Hey, Jennifer, thank you. I think I already have two that were given to me before this webinar started, so if I may ask you those in advance as others are trying to potentially write a few questions right now. Can you define LMS for us one more time so that people understand what those three letters mean?
It's the Learning Management System. It is web-based, and that's what hosts our e-learning module.
Oh, okay. So that's the hosting mechanism, basically.
Yep.
And you referred to an LMS administrator. So every company that subscribes needs a key person as the key contact. Is that what that is?
Correct. Yes. And we have that information on the application. We do have a field where you have to put that person's name in.
Got it. So that's your key contact. Good. The other thing that came up before the event was we had a person ask what modules are currently available and what might be not in the not too distant future being planned right now. Can you share that with us?
Sure. We currently have 20 modules on green sand molding, casting defect analysis, cast iron, and introduction to metal casting principles. Coming up, we're hoping to have some modules on aluminum, copper, steel, gating and riser design, sand testing, which also includes chemically bonded sand testing, no-bake, cold box, and 3D sand printing.
We have a question that was just typed in here, so if I may share that with you. It says, will we be able to track the individual progress of every person in the metal casting operation?
Yes, through the corporate subscriptions, the LMS administrator will be the supervisor, and the supervisor can monitor all the employees taking the e-learning.
Good, excellent, thank you. Let's see if there's any others. I don't think so at this point in time, but let's take a look. I see no others. What we'll do at this point is give you like another 30 seconds and see if anybody has one other question. Looks like one might have just appeared, and it says something to the effect, does an employee take a test? I would assume they're saying at the bitter end of their completion either of a module or of a set of modules.
Yes, Leo. Every module has a knowledge check test at the end to complete and get credit for the CEUs.
Great. How many people can we give access to with the corporate subscription? So that's a question that I think has to do with the size of the company. So can you share some information on that, please?
Sure. Every employee at your facility would have access to the e-learning if they are in our system and have a valid email address.
Okay, and the subscription is based on size of company, correct?
Yes, we have 3 tiers. We have corporate members up to 100 employees per plant. We have corporate members up to 250 employees per plant. And we have corporate members for more than 250 employees per plant.
Okay, so one of the people talking about the other type of membership from an individual side, one of the questions is, what is the benefit to people with an individual membership? Well, they can purchase the individual modules at a discount. Is that not correct? Yes, absolutely. So they could take a look at the e-store, for example, and see the differential in pricing, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And there is a difference in price for member versus non-member. We're quickly scanning some of the questions as they're pouring in here. Most of them have been somewhat answered. What we'll also do, so you know, is we won't ignore these. We will capture them, and either the individual will receive a personal note from us, or we will respond to it in another way, maybe posting it on Casting Connections or somewhere else. Let's see if anything else jumps out at us. What if our employees do not have assigned emails? Uh-oh. Well, I would assume in today's world that they might even have their own individual. It doesn't have to be a company email address. Is that correct? So if, as long as they have a Gmail account or some type of account that they could, but that would be essential. Is that not true, Jennifer?
Yes, we need to have an email address. Okay,
so there is no questions asked about that. I guess if you don't have one, you gotta get one, or otherwise you can't be done.
Our hope is, I see a question, are courses available in other than English? We are hoping to develop these e-learning modules into Spanish.
There's one here that says, do modules have to be completed in order, or can employees, associates pick and choose as they go along?
Yes, they can. The benefit of our e-learning is you can have access to any of the modules for corporate subscriptions, and you can take them out of order. There is no real order to them. And then for individuals, it's up to you which module you want to take based on the content.
All right, one question came in here. How do we set up accounts for people that are not possibly in our database or in the database that would allow for access to this? So they would have to create an account here at AFS, correct, Jennifer? Yeah.
Yes. And we can send you that link, and you can, on our website, sign up for an account. And if you don't have an account, that's where you can sign in. There's a button there that says, don't have an account, like this button.
And create one. This is interesting because let's say you're a little pokey and you don't finish in your 60 days, because one of the questions here says, how do you extend time if not finished with the module? Uh-oh, that doesn't sound like good news, right?
Unfortunately, at this time, we have 60 days of access. So after those 60 days, you will have to contact us again to purchase the module.
Okay. And that forces the fact that it doesn't become something that's then passed around. It is truly something that someone uses, it is completed, and then it expires. Okay. You know, there's a few other questions here. Some of them are overlapping on some of the things that we've had. But again, what we'll do is feel free to contact either one of us, Jennifer or myself, with regard to questions on it. Jennifer will be more than happy to help you with more of the mechanics of the LMS system, the courses themselves and how they work. I'll get you through any questions you might have with regard to membership and getting people registered. But unless there is something other than the ones we've covered, and we know your time is precious, I think we'll call it a day. What do you say?
Okay.
All right. We appreciate you being involved in this. If there is any follow-up that you would need, please give us a call or drop us an email. And again, we say thank you for helping us. And if you need any other assistance when it comes to AFS program itself, Neil Bender is the man to talk to, and there's his email address. Inquiries about the Institute and you know, physically registering and getting people involved, Celeste Smith would be more than happy to help you. And is there anything I'm missing, Jennifer?
Just please remember that this webinar will be recorded, and you will receive an email with a link to the recording within a week after the webinar. Thank you again, and have a fabulous day.
Thank you, everyone.